Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the NSE UK Splatoon University League. It is the final week of the Swiss stage of this tournament. This is Conroe, and I am joined by Optical Drop for the first two matches of tonight. Welcome in, Optical.
Hello, hi, thanks for having me. I think there's some technical difficulties on my end where my camera's on, but for some reason it's not showing up on your end, and I don't know why.
That's all good. Your profile picture is lighting up as you speak, so it'll just be.
Oh yeah,
I'll be speaking to a JPEG for the for the commentary.
Shout out to my friend Deed who made this absolute wonderful talent all around. But yeah, that aside, we will be starting up this first round with Tentacle Nuke versus S Cardinals. What do you have to say about this team yourself, Conrad?
Yeah, so Tentacle Nuke Inkbound, the full names that don't quite fit on the scoreboard. Tentacle Nuke Inkbound versus Solent Cardinals. Anyone who's kind of familiar with NSE over the past few seasons of this will definitely know these two teams. They are normally near the top. And Tentacle Nuke Inkbound are one of the 4 teams right now that have won 5 of their 6 Swiss matches. We don't have any teams that have won all 6, so it's very close at the top. Solent Cardinals have won 4, so they're only 1 win behind. Tentacle Nuke probably going to guarantee their top 8 spot if they win this one against Solent Cardinals. But yeah, both teams are very good. They have, experienced competitive players. Tentacle Nuke Inkbound have Jason and Mr. Egg, amongst others, who have all proved themselves as we've watched them in the past. And on the other side, Solent Cardinals have Wither and, of course, Yosho, who I always forget, but I think their name is Star Yoshi in this. I'm pretty sure that's Yosho. It's never been confirmed, but well, it probably has, and I just forgot. But yeah, so both teams do have good players, and of course we start with a best of 3 mini set for Turf War, and I think Tentacle Nuke Inkbound have chosen to go to Barnacle and Dine.
Yeah, a good map to start out with, pretty neutral across the board. Enough cover to protect yourself, but enough open area to be able to get in if you need to. So starting off, obviously, we have an interesting team setup. Loving to see the Heavy back in the limelight with a nice Wiper as well. Always a fan of the swords. They're very fun to watch. Already, off the bat, just a lot of movement from that sword, just constantly zooming back and forth. Unfortunately, they get taken out mostly from the rain, but it seems like that it was, I would assume, the pencil. It seemed like it was a long shot. But it does seem that Cardinals have taken a bit of a lead, considering the map is pretty mostly blue right now. As the Tentacle Nuke try to push their way back into mid, they throw out a nice big hammer to keep them at bay, which does seem to give them a little bit of a chance to come in, but that Reef and those strikes are going to keep them back.
Yeah, with trying to just kind of sneak in a play with a Reef Slider, not going for a pick first with the main weapon, which is what I kind of expected to see. But yeah, Wither on Solent Cardinals, they will, I've mentioned before, they're a very chaotic player. They do almost always play Dapples, and they will be just trying to get in the other team's face as much as possible, sneaking around on the flanks. And they're never shy about Reef Slider. Normally, as soon as it's active, they will just, use it and, try and get 1 or 2 picks on the other side. And it is Solent Cardinals that have started this game better. See, yeah, the red pen, I think, is being used by Yosho on the red Snipe Fighter, which we haven't actually seen too much. But, of course, the Dynamo is a lot better in today's patch. So and a teammate is just using the Dynamo with Caller instead. And I think it's working out for them because Yosho is able to put a lot of pressure on with the pencil. He is known as a backline. It's probably one of his best weapons with us. Reef Slide, I thought, was about to get a pick, but I think Jason just had the Cooler jump out and was able to run away. Wither gets punished in the meantime, and a teammate goes down as well. So with just under a minute, I think Tentacle Nuke are finally getting back in this one.
Yeah, Cardinals was playing really passively, trying to play more defensively, just holding the line and everything, not really pushing up too much. Now we see Tentacle Nuke actually attempting to push themselves. They were able to make it back into mid themselves. They will be thrown out with a storm coming out for them to deal with, but it does seem like that they are, though backtracking, still holding the line pretty well, all things considered, taking out the dualies very easily, having to contest those strikes. Oh, and a nice trade from the Dynamo and Heavy right there. Very interesting. It does seem, though, that Cardinals does have the upper hand with the amount of paint that they're throwing out, but it's never really over until that counter stops ticking. Let's see how they did.
Yeah, it isn't over until it stops ticking, but definitely with about 30 seconds left, Tentacle Nuke. So no, the other team, Stolen Cardinals, were starting to take that game, and Zaid was the only one alive for Tentacle Nuke Inbound with about 15 seconds left. By then, it was pretty much a done deal. Definitely some back and forth. Tentacle Nuke Inbound did find an opportunity to get back in, but it was a really solid kind of backline / support line with the Pencil and the Dynamo on Solon Cardinals that kind of just allowed Spookster on the bucket and Wither on the Dapples to kind of do what they wanted, you know, get a bit more aggressive, even if they get taken out. They didn't really get punished all that much, it didn't seem like. Solon Cardinals definitely had the majority of the control, like, for most of that game. Tentacle Nuke Inbound seemed like they only had one real chance to get back in after a double, but they couldn't keep it going. They did get punished when coming back in. So game one of Turf War is going to Solon Cardinals, and that means Tentacle Nuke Inbound can choose the next map.
Yeah. I will say they it did seem that Tentacle Nuke did have like a bit of a nice push, like right before they were like chased back out of mid. It was very interesting to see that they were able to take the upper hand despite being like so strongly locked out for a good majority of that game. So it's very likely that, like, you know, depending on like how more familiar they are with this map in particular, they could potentially see themselves in a more favorable position. Who knows? Either way, we should be starting this next game fairly soon. This one's going to be on Mako Mart, it looks like. Very big fan of this map myself. I don't know about you.
I play Bucket, so yes. I also
no,
like
good.
Mako Mart. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very much a fan of this map. It's from my from my experience, considering I use a reef slider weapon, it tends to be pretty easy to just flip the zone, like even without just like cheesing it all that well. Just like it's really easy to paint over when you just have like a little bit of time to it. You know, after exploding, of course. But it does look like we're going to be starting now, so let's see if they switched up their comp any bit to try and adapt to the players they're going up against. Curious to see if that's the case.
Yeah, let's see if we get any changes. We do see a pro, which I don't think was on the field last time, from Jason. Jason is actually, they do like their Bucket as well, but I think they've since moved to some other weapons. And Zaid bringing out the custom blaster. They're on the Rapid in the last game, so they've gone with a bit more of an aggro choice as well. No changes on the other side. Wither, of course, still on the Dapples with Reef Slider. Still sharking to try and sneak around. Oh, they've actually jumped out there. I think they're about to get picked off, so they jumped to a backline instead. Tentacle Nuke Inbound. Definitely the first team to kind of get control of mid here. Storm coming out from Yosho on the pen. Wither tries to get round, but well watched by the heavy splatling on Tentacle Nuke Inbound. So they are the first team to get some picks in this game. Green, on the other hand, has gone round with a wiper, but they get punished as well. Just surrounded by Solon Cardinals players. Maybe a chance to come back in with the caller. Zayd trying to do something. That splashdown is going to take out the Dynamo. Nice pick. And it is Tentacle Nuke Inbound that are trying to set up in mid.
Yeah, and as I sort of semi-predicted, it does seem like they are a lot more comfortable with this map in particular, because they do seem to have a lot more control over it than they did in Barnacle. And you know, as I say that, there's a lot of just defending the perimeter, for lack of a better way to put it, around their spawn area. As Spook tries to go for that ledge, that ramp, they throw out their strikes to try and push a little bit farther. And with the Reef coming out, nearly taking out that Hammer, the Hammer coming back with a nice counterattack. And a good throw, though it didn't really end up getting anyone. With that, it does seem that the Heavy does seem to be holding a lot of the line right there, but throwing out that Wave Breaker to try and push them even further. Now that they're marked even a little bit, it does seem that they were able to help out the team a little bit, but with the Soda out, it does seem that those dualies, oh yeah, those dualies were trying to like get a sneak on someone else. Missiles didn't really deter them all that much, but the Storm did seem to push back Nuke a little bit, so it does seem like it's pushed more into Cardinals' favor right now. I don't know about how you feel about that.
Yeah, Solent Cardinals definitely seen back on top. Spooks with the strikes, but I don't think they saw that Zayd was closer to them. But Zayd gets taken out as well, and now it's 2v2. This is a huge fight right here with 30 seconds left. This could decide the game. Green's hammer is about to end. They do get the throw, doesn't quite get anyone, but they do stay alive for now. And in the meantime, Solent Cardinals have lost their main frontline Wither, who has to, they're going to respawn quite quickly, but a huge pick between the Dynamo, getting an assist off someone else. Tentacle Nuke Inkbound have lost the player, and Wither has come back in and got taken down again. And now Spookster's weak on the left, being chased by the Heavy. It's hard to say who is winning in terms of paint right now. With 5 seconds left, Wither does come back in, gets a couple more picks before being taken down. I have no idea. Neither spawn has been fully painted either. I'm just going to point that out, guys. Come on, paint your spawn.
But it is looking pretty even. If I had to assume maybe purple? Yeah, okay.
Okay. Ignore me then. Painting spawn doesn't matter because
honestly,
there's a lot of gaps. But yeah.
Well, with that, if I understand it correctly, it does seem as if Cardinals were able to take the mini set and win Turf War, essentially.
Yeah, that is 2 games going to Solent Cardinals on both maps. I should point out that Tentacle Nuke Inkbound did pick because they kind of considered the home team, so they picked game 1, and of course they lost that one, so they counter pick again. And yeah, they did have a slight change of plan. It did seem to go better for them. I felt a little bit that game, but again, it's just that last 30 seconds where Solent Cardinals just kind of get the job done. And, you know, in Turf War, the last 30 seconds are, of course, the most important part of the match. And Solent Cardinals know that, and they get it done. So they're just looking for that 5th win of the Swiss stage. They might need to win 2 of their matches tonight. They do. Everyone plays 3 matches per night, remember, and they've got 3 more games of Swiss to make top 8. So, you know, Solent Cardinals know that they might have to win 2 matches tonight. And they want to get off on the right foot and get to a good start, beating a team that's won one more match than them.
Yes, and as we advance to the next game, it seems to be Clam Blitz on Scorch Gorge. Fascinating. Honestly, wait. No, I was wrong. Umami Ruins. Wrong desert area. Oh my god, I got my desert areas mixed up in my head. My bad. No,
you said that and I didn't question it. I saw the map. I know it's Umami, but you said Scorch, and I was like, "Yep, cool."
Oh my god! There are just some maps in this game where I'm like, it's one or the other, and I hope I say the right one. That is a pair for me. That it doesn't happen so much. The one that really throws me off is like Mako Mart and Hagglefish, because they're both shopping centers. So it's more like which one's the Mart and which one's the market. You know.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Scorch and Umami, I definitely see it. They're both like, they look very hot and sunny and outdoors. So yeah. Easy to get mixed up between the 2.
You know what they say about sand, coarse, rough, and irritating, and all that.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I wouldn't say that about these maps. I do like these maps. They're not coarse, rough, and irritating.
Yeah, I do like me some Umami. I'm not a fan of Clam Blitz, but on this map, I give it a bit of a pass because it's like actually like pretty good in terms of like clam spawn placement and just like your ability to be able to like get to the basket. It's a little narrow, but it's like it's got a nice enough balance where it's like if you can get through, you deserve to get in the basket at that point.
Yeah, definitely. And I will say it's been the scene of a couple of very intense games that I've watched on the last week or 2 of NSE as well. Just a lot of close games coming out. Normally the basket doesn't get broken often, so when it does get broken, you really have to take advantage of, you know, it being open and try and get some clams in while you can, because it is a bit of a choke point as you head towards that basket. There aren't many places to move, and Yosho still on the red pen. They seem pretty set up with the comp they have. They have actually changed the slosher for Ink Brush, which I believe I have seen Spookster on. They do actually like the Ink Brush as well. I've definitely seen them run around on that thing and be so annoying to the other team. Green on Tentacle Nuke Inkbound has actually switched to the Bluger instead of the Wiper, just giving a little bit more range. It's obviously quite a slow dualies, but it does have a range and it is a 2-shot. So Tentacle Nuke kind of hoping that will benefit them better than Turf War did. It's been a very cagey opening. Both teams sitting on a power clam, I think, and about 12 clams. But yeah, no one scored with a minute in.
Yeah, I saw that power clam go on that I don't know what you call it, that little purple thing, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna be able to get that, and they like got it immediately. So yeah, as we can see, there's a lot of like just constant like poking and running back. No one's really trying to like overextend, which honestly probably the smarter play, especially this early on. You don't want to have to like ooh, nice take out from that pencil, and as we see the booyahs coming out to try and take out that stack, it did get them off, though it didn't stop whoever was jumping to it to jump to it, though they did immediately get splattered right after. As we can see, there is a lot of fighting back and forth at that top right corner over there. Seems to be no one can really get a hit on anyone. As I say that, of course, someone actually gets a hit on someone. But with that power clam now unoccupied, it's going to despawn. But the crab is out to try and take out any stragglers on the other. I say stragglers as if like they aren't just like all just together. Yeah, here we have Spookster again trying to contain mid as best they can, throwing out that hammer. Unfortunately, the one time they overextend cost them. However, throwing the power from a super jump really scored them a goal. I was not expecting that.
It did, yeah. That was quite incredible. Wither, just typical Wither things, just reef slid to the basket, and somehow they were the only player on their team not to get splattered in any of that. I think 2 players get splattered behind them, and somehow Wither survived. I guess they survived long enough for Yoshel to jump with the power clam. It's been, I mean, this is a real game of just like backlines and anchors just holding the line, and you know the front lines go down, but then you've still got to deal with, you know, probably a backline, maybe even 2 backlines. We see a heavy splatling and a rapid pro on one team, and on the other, which is pretty much 2 backlines there, and on the other team you've got a snipe writer and a dynamo. It's just so much range, and they can still splat you fairly easily. Heavy splatling, you mentioned it earlier, does seem to be having a bit of a resurgence. I think it won an area cup recently, and that was with a pencil, so that's it's kind of 2 backlines, but something about heavy has brought it back into the fold. Wither being aggressive here. If they can get a double, this is definitely going to open the way up for Solent Cardinals. That is pretty much a wipeout. This is finally going to be a lot of points on the board from them, surely.
Yeah, whether or not they can actually get a knockout from this is it's not unreasonable to assume, considering the position they put themselves in and how low the score is right now. Well, like golf rules, whatever. As they keep resetting that timer, not trying to throw in too many at once, and of course, as I say that, they do that immediately. They're only 2 clams away from winning, and someone is super jumping in to try and do that. Well. Quite the impressive game right there. Yeah, I do have to agree. Seeing the resurgence in Heavy is very entertaining to see, especially coming from someone such as myself, who has been pretty much playing the weapon since the first game. Like, that was my main in Splatoon 1, and it's always been like my secondary since Splatoon 2 when I switched to Vunder. Yes, I know, it's cringe, but whatever. But I do enjoy seeing that Heavy is actually like good now. Like it was always kind of good. I think it's just the problem is that the kits were not much to be desired for, but now with this buff, hopefully the Wave Breaker one can see a bit more play, unless you like Kraken. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's not my thing. But yeah, what an amazing play. Back to the game. Cardinals really were just completely locking them out, flanking them, and just going in directions that Nuke could not really have easily predicted. Very interesting gameplay from them, just like constantly like throwing in clams to try and extend the timer, only when it was like able to properly reset it, and not like, you know, extend it for as long as they could, obviously, you know, as optimally gameplay goes.
Yeah, they definitely kind of managed to hold that basket open. I liked what the Dynamo did there as well, just kind of sitting on the dome waiting for someone to jump in with the last 2 clams. But yeah, I think we said at the start, it was basically going to take a wipeout to really open the way up to the goal. Their first push, when the basket opened, they didn't really get too many points in. But on the second one, they did, because they KO'd it all the way to the end. And yeah, Tentacle and Ginkbound now have to reverse sweep this, or they're going to let Solent Cardinals get onto the same number of wins in Swiss as them. I wonder what they're going to try and change here, because they kind of had two backlines there. I think they had a heavy and a Rapid Pro going into that one, and I do wonder if they'll switch more into the aggro comp that they kind of brought to Macomart Turf War. You know, we saw Zaid on the Custom Blaster, and they seem to be doing work with it. I know they like Rapid Pro. They, you know, in past seasons they've normally been on Rapid Pro, but they really seem to be struggling with this comp that Solent Cardinals have brought out, you know, with the Dynamo and the pencil. I mean, the pencil's being played by Yosho, so it's an uphill battle straight away. But you know, I don't know if it's a sub weapon issue, because I don't think they've had too many like deadly sub weapons. I mean, the Rapid Pro has Suction Bomb and the Splash had Burst Bomb, but the other two I don't think had a damaging sub weapon. You know, I mean, Dynamo hates splat bombs, I'll say that much. But we are going to go into game 3, which is Tower Control on Inkbot Art Academy. Once again, Tentacle and Ginkbound's pick. They've picked every map in this game so far. So for this game to keep going, Tentacle and Solent Cardinals will have to pick one. But Jason is on the bucket, which I am more familiar with him on. And they do look like they've gone more aggro here. They've brought the mini that has a lot of... It normally gets a lot of Zookas.
Yeah. I gotta say, I do another map that I really like, but also another map that I could see could easily confuse some people. Like, is this the Art Academy or the Art Museum? It is the Academy, though. So, as we can see, Storm coming out from that pencil, trying to keep... Oh! Unfortunately, it did not work at trying to keep Nuke off, but it did end up acting as a way for Nuke to instead kind of go in more aggressively here. With the Reef coming out and strikes as well, trying to keep them off of that check, which does seem to be pretty successful so far. Now that check has been completely reset, so they'll just have to try from scratch again if they want to get even further. But having taken the lead, it doesn't really need to be like that high of a priority now. Now they just need to like combat Nuke as much as possible. Now with their own strikes coming out in order to contest them, it does seem that they are trying really hard to push in more than they were earlier. Because, oh, and with Soda out as well, now the Soda and Storm, now it does seem that Cardinals themselves are looking to push. And with the pencil right by the tower, but not willing to go on it. Oh, just barely avoiding, but not actually that hammer. Ooh, that is a wipe out from Nuke. Really impressive play right there.
Yeah, definitely is. And I will say they already look way more comfortable with whatever they've brought to this one, you know, with the bucket, the wiper, and the mini. They have so much more to deal with the backlines, actually. You know, Trizuka, I don't think they've used it until this game. But it is such a huge stop on that. I mean, there you go. The example right there. The pen is gone. Just with one Zuka shot, they don't have to worry about it anymore until they respawn. And they are going to keep pushing this tower. And Solent Cardinals are going to keep losing players. It is just the Slosher who doesn't have triple Ink Strike up yet to stop that tower. Pencil coming back in somewhere, and the Dynamo just trying to push back. Tentacle Nuke Inkbound with a going ahead with the reslide to stop them from pushing tower, and it looks like it's paid off. That is 3 down for Tentacle Nuke Inkbound. The Rapid Pro is the only one alive, and they are already backing up into mid and jumping out. But that is a very solid push from Tentacle Nuke Inkbound, the best push they've had of the set so far.
Right, yeah, that is going to be a really hard to come back play for Cardinals to make if they want to be able to take lead. Now, as they have taken the tower from themselves, they were able to get some points on the board, which is nice. Now they're at check, which they were just able to pass, with a reslider coming out to try and push the backliners back, but unfortunately they got countered by the Rapid. Wow. Oh, and that's another wipeout from Nuke, throwing out just a few victory strikes, I suppose, in order to try and push the tower themselves just a little bit further so that they can, I guess, just either hold it or hopefully push even farther. Oh, did the stream?
Yeah, sorry, the stream on our end is going through some issues right now. But yeah, with that reslide from Wither, I don't know if it got caught on the wall or if they just stopped it early. It definitely would have taken out that rapid. We are back now, so we can see the game going on. And Ted's Corner Kinkbound pushing the tower again, setting up Green, the Wiper going to bats, just trying to keep them from going that side. The Zuka out again. Wither just going to run in, try and put a stop to it. They do take out the mini. They're going to go for the rapid as well, but they've got a Ultra Stamp bearing down on them, and they are not able to punish that in time. The tower is still being pushed. It could be more points for Tentacle and Kinkbound as they move towards the final checkpoint. They push it down to 20, and they are getting through that checkpoint. Wither dives on tower, able to get 1 and 2, and that is a wipeout, but it is more points on the board for Tentacle and Kinkbound. Not quite able to clear that last checkpoint, but Soul and Cardinals still have to go through the second one with only 15 seconds left.
Yeah, I noticed someone had some aura back there on Team Nuke earlier, and while someone did try to jump to a beaker, they quickly realized that's just me versus 4, then they jump right back, which is probably a pretty smart play with how far of a push they were able to get for themselves. Now with overtime active, Cardinals are going to have to work extra hard if they want to be able to get to sub 15 on that scoreboard. As they are currently counting down right now, it does seem like they're able to hold that tower for pretty long. Strikes coming out to try and push them back. They are not able to push it for them far enough. Oh, wow. If they actually were able... Oh, if they're able...
Oh, what is happening? Oh, what is happening? Oh, no.
Who do you imagine? No, that was an amazing attempt. That was an amazing attempt from them. Unfortunately, they will lose tower during overtime, which will leave them ineligible of making a comeback. But still, very impressive play from not just them, but both. Nice fist bump, by the way. Yeah, very interesting back and forth between them. Even though that, excuse me. Even though Team Nuke was very much ahead in that game, it was very clear Cardinals were just very well coordinated in terms of just working together to try and combat that push, which most of the time they seem to be pretty well equipped for. But unfortunately, it just was not enough for Team Nuke to have taken the lead with. Now, that being said, this does mean that we are going to Game 4, which does mean that the other team will be able to counterpick this time. What do you predict the counterpick will be from them, I wonder?
Well, I feel like it's going to be... let me just double check what the mode is, actually. It's going to be Splat Zones. So yeah, we are finally seeing Splat Zones in this. I just want to see what happened at the end here, actually. Okay, okay, it was a fight on tower between the Mini and the Pen, and thankfully for Tentacle and Kinkbound, the Mini ran out. I can't believe they almost gave that to Soul Cardinals. They had the Tri-Strikes online, but I think everyone else just got taken out in the meantime. So at that point, the Triple Link Strikes aren't going to do too much. But in terms of the counter pick from Soul Cardinals, it's got to be a map that kind of benefits both a pencil and maybe a support like the Dynamo. I mean, they haven't really switched their comp up at all, and there are definitely some Splat Zones maps in the map pool for this that they could pick. I mean, the other team, Tentacle and Kinkbound, they don't have a pencil of their own. They do have a Rapid Pro, which I don't know how you fancy it against the Rapid Pro versus pencil, but if they're not able to do anything, the pencil might just have kind of free roam on the map. I would definitely suggest the Tentacle and Kinkbound to keep the Trizuka. I mean, I think that's why they picked it, just so that they have something better against both the Dynamo and the pencil. They both struggle against it, and bring the weapon that gets Trizuka more than any of the others, just the Mini that can paint forever, and it has beacons as well, which is a nice support bonus as well. But yeah, I don't know if Soul Cardinals have picked the map yet. Well, there's the map pool, so you can see what they can pick. I'm not sure. Yeah, place your bets. The only thing I can't remember is if we can see a map that we've already seen in the set. regardless of mode. So we've seen Makuma and Umami on other modes, but I don't quite remember if that's a rule or not. Mahi Mahi is in there, and I would Solan Cardinals might actually go for that one, considering what I just said with the dynamo and the pencil.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was like Robo Ramen or something. Oh, okay. So it does seem that they've picked. They will be going brine water. Interesting.
Okay. Yeah, same reasons then. I actually didn't realize that was in there, but yeah, for basically the reasons I just said, I can definitely understand this pick.
Right. Yeah. This is a very like. I remember when this map came out. My first impression of it is, wow, this map is big. It really isn't. What really made me think that is, it's just long. Like it's just kind of like it's two hallways met up with a small square essentially, but like that it gives the illusion that it's a lot bigger than it really is. But because of that, it does. You know what? I'm gonna say it. This is this game's Moray Towers. This is essentially their Moray Towers equivalent.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I mean, I can't think of any other maps that are more like Moray Towers than this one, off the top of my head. So just for that, I would say, yeah, I mean, the really long ramp that kind of goes down to the main area from spawn. I think that's close enough to Moray Towers.
Yeah, the sniper positions, being able to have like a higher ground. God, I already made a Star Wars prequel joke with the sand earlier, but like now I'm talking about high ground. Oh boy. Anyway, but yes, this should be an interesting map for a said backline, but also just like considering all the action is going to happen in mid with that zone. I can imagine like there's going to be a lot of use of the cover in the middle, like right on top of that zone. That little block there that just covers it definitely leads to a lot of awkward positions where it's like you're just like on one side, you paint as much as you can. It's like it did not flip yet. I have to go to the other side, and then you just get headshotted before like you can even make it there.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that's just me, and I just have to get good. Who knows?
No, I mean, you said about Moray, and I would definitely agree with like something an Eliter on this map. You just feel like you can get shot at from your spawn, almost. They just overlook it. We don't have any Eliters in this, of course, but we do have your shot on the pencil. No changes at all from them, really. And from the other side, they've actually got rid of the Trizuka, and they're going for double Ultra Stamp instead. The Wiper's staying, and they still have a Mini. It's just got Ultra Stamp instead. I don't know how I feel about that. They'll have to prove that pick in this game to me, because I do feel like the Trizuka might have been better than two Ultra Stamps. But let's see how this goes. Tentacle Nuke Inkbound have claimed the zone for 9 points at least, but that has quite quickly flipped. Green is on the left flank, just trying to find a time to go in. I don't know if Spookster knows they're there. They're kind of watching that side. I think they do. Green has been caught out and has to retreat. So no big picks early on. They do lose the Mini. Green has an Ultra Stamp ready to go if they can get it going, but they have lost two players now, and it's 2v4. Stolen Cardinals do have the strikes out. Green is just waiting to do something on this flank, but they know they're there, so let's see if they are able to do anything. The stamp comes out, and they're not really getting punished. I mean, they've gone all the way across the map there, and they do go out eventually. But Stolen Cardinals
great out of it, at least, yeah. Yeah. You were mentioning in the last game that they going to the Mini that they chose before was an aggressive pick. Honestly, in my opinion, there is nothing more aggressive than choosing to go V Mini, because that thing not only has a very aggressive and in-your-face special, but actually has a bomb. So it can do a lot of chip damage as well. But on top of that, it does seem that Cardinals have pretty much been locking out the Team Nuke for a good majority of this game. However, with the flip on their end, it does seem that Nuke was able to get back, even if for a short while, resetting that counter, so they'll have to make some sort of comeback again in order to be able to actually be able to have a chance of whittling their score down any bit more. With that being said, with the storm coming out, pushing back Team Nuke even further, it does seem that it's not very likely that they'll have an opportunity to get to zone. But with strikes coming out, it does seem to be pushing in their favor. Well, I'll be eating my shoe later. All right.
Yeah, it did. For a while, it looked like Stolen Cardinals might just KO this, but Tentacle Nuke, but
Mm,
oh my goodness, what has
that
just
was
happened?
amazing.
Withers Reef
Oh,
Slide.
wow.
Rivers Reef Slide possibly got 3 there, either that or 2 and an assist, and then they cleaned up with the 4th. So Wither definitely has aura right now. No doubt that is the player that we heard get aura state there. So they are going to be trying to use that to get a few more picks, and they do get one and another. That's crazy, and they do go down, but they're still going to be auraed, no doubt in my mind, when they're back. And suddenly it's only the Mini who is going to have to drop. They're going to have to make a play fast because the penalty time is done. But Wither gets a pick on their side of the map. There's only 2 alive. It's a wipeout.
I saw that hammer come out. They were so desperate to try and flip that zone. Unfortunately, it just was not enough. And with that wipeout, they secured victory for themselves over this game and set. Very impressive plays from that team. Man. You know, like, good on Nuke for being able to take a game at least.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as we said before, but going into this game, Tentacle Nuke Inbound were the team that had won. They'd won 5 of their 6 Swiss matches, and Stolen Cardinals had only won 4. Not sure exactly who these teams have.
That Reef and like that last kill was just so dirty. I'm sorry if I interrupted you. I just could not help myself. That was like.
That's okay. I understood it. I mean, I do think that was a triple. There were 2 players that definitely got caught in it, and there might have been one player a little bit further away that got taken out at the same time. Maybe they had some chip damage already. But yeah, I have just quickly checked the results. They did play each other previously in the first week, and Tentacle Nuke Inkbound actually took that one 3-0. So yeah, clearly some changes have been made since then for Stolen Cardinals to come back in their second meetup of the season and take this one. And yeah, Tentacle Nuke Inkbound, it was a fairly close set, I feel, but that was a really good pick from Stolen Cardinals. On Brine Water, they seemed very comfortable there. No one was really challenging Yoshel. I mean, a pencil on that map, you just paint zone. I think everyone's experienced going up against the pencil on that map where you're not going to outpaint it for zone. You just can't. And it hasn't got many things that can challenge it, which is why I thought the Trizuka would stay, because it's 3 shots you've got at them essentially. But they got rid of it for the Ultra Stamp, and yeah, even though it has Burst Bomb, it just didn't seem to work for them there. So yeah, Stolen Cardinals do get up to 5 wins. Tentacle Nuke also on 5 wins with 2 matches left in the Swiss bracket. Top 8 is what these teams need for Div 1. So there are 2 matches to go. Optical and I will stick around for one more of those matches coming up soon. Not sure who it is yet, but we'll know when we're back. And yeah, we'll go to a quick break, guys, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon with more NSE.
Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to the NSE University League. That's what it's called. My name is Optical Drop. This is Connor, and we are back with another set. This time it's going to be I'm gonna try and pronounce this best I can. Lawbrella versus Inkperlia. Please tell me I got that close enough.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's close enough. Some of our place names are quite hard to say if you don't know how to say them. But yeah, Luff.
I'm too American for this, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Loughborough is the name of the university, and they call their team here Loughbrella, or Loughbrella Undercover Agents is the full name.
Right.
Versus Inkperial, which isn't a university name. They've just called their team Inkperial. I think Inkperial is one of the London universities. But yes, match number 8 of the Swiss stage. Loughbrella and Inkperial playing here. I think they've won 4 matches each. So, keep in mind the top 8 make Division 1 here. I think they're both going to have to win this one to keep their hopes alive of making Division 1. Now, Loughbrella are an interesting team. If you kind of consider a big 4 historically in NSE, it's the Portsmouth teams, Solent Cardinals and Tentacle New Kingbound, who we just saw, and Anarchists, who I think won the last season as well. Loughbrella tend to be like just below them all the time. I don't think they can quite get over the line whenever they face those 4 teams, but they did finish 5th last season. We should point out Loughbrella Undercover Agents. They finished 5th in Division 1. So they've definitely got a bit of a reputation behind them already. I'm not quite sure on the full roster, but I know they have Halo, who is a UK player. Well, they're all UK players, but Halo's been around in competitive for quite a long time. Inkperial we haven't seen as much. I don't think they made the top 8 last season, but they've clearly shown up like this season at least, because they have got 4 wins so far out of 7. So they're definitely up there, and now's a big chance to kind of prove themselves and show to everyone that they can make top 8. They're probably going to have to beat Loughbrella here if they do want to make it that far. So we are going to go into a best of 5 again, as always, with game 1 being a best of 3 kind of turf war mini set. And once again, Optical, we're seeing Barnacle for game 1.
Right. Once again, a nice, fairly neutral stage for whatever team wants to run it. I do enjoy the idea of these like mini best ofs for turf, as opposed to just doing a round of turf, because like considering turf being what it is, it's probably the most appropriate way to go about like incorporating that mode into a tournament if you had to. So I am very interested to see like what kind of apologies, I'm not as familiar with these teams as much as you might be. Do we know what kind of weapons we can expect from them?
I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure with these 2 teams. We have seen Loughbrella before a few times. Halo, I mean, you can see their weapons there. They do like the Jewelry Squelchers. They do tend to play other stuff here as well, though. They've been on the pro a few times. They are bringing out the Jewelry Squelchers here and a Paintbrush. Yeah, this is where we see some different comps coming out, because we've mentioned before, this is of course like university teams. We have a different array of like competitive experience. Some people are coming to this pretty much for the first time. Maybe they've not played competitive before, which I love, because you do get some interesting comps coming out. Of course, this is turf war, so weapons like the Custom Junior and the Gold Arrow tend to get used here anyway, because they can just paint very well. But yeah, we are seeing some interesting things. I don't think there's any back. Oh wait, yes there is. There's an E-liter, the longest range weapon in the game. That is the only one, and sadly, Inkperial are now 3 players down.
Ooh. Yeah, I noticed that E-liter the moment that I saw them like show up, and I do enjoy like a nice E-liter when it should, like, as long as it's just like one and like the other team is able to fight around it, that can always be like pretty fun. Maybe not for them, but maybe for me. After that Booyah being thrown out, we do see that Imperial is going to be pushing in even further into mid. It does seem as though they have the upper hand right now, although there are a lot of point sensors being thrown out. Oh, Oh, I thought that ink brush was about to fall off, but
Me too.
unfortunately they still got taken out by the arrow spray anyway, with a nice little cheeky sprinkler up on top to try and get around that hallway in case someone tries to come down that way, which it did seem like that they were, but were able to take it out instead and just went back off on the ramp. A nice little wave breaker to throw things off, but another one from Longborough. Brella. I was gonna call him Brella for make my life easy. In order to even things out closer to mid. Going down into the pit, we got like a 2-for-1 trade off of that interaction. Very interesting. Now it just seems that Imperial are just like stuck on their side of the map trying to push forward. I don't know how far they'll be able to get from that.
Yeah, we'll have to see that. I mean, they do have they have a very paint-heavy comp, so this is the kind of comp that you can never really count out of Turf War because they can just suddenly turn around. They only really need like 1 or 2 picks on Lovebrella, and they could easily turn this around. They do have the Dread, of course, which has the Reef Slider, which can very easily catch people out. But Cosme on Lovebrella is actually going really far there. Able to get 1, but they do get punished for it, and it's really important now for these players to stay alive. And suddenly the Editor is doing work, honestly. They've got a lot of picks this game, and suddenly I think it's 2 or 3 down. It is 3 down for Lovebrella, so now Imperial have all the time to come back in. So much paint coming out. Cosme on the paintbrush is just trying to keep them back, trying to desperately get something done. The Reef Slide going deep onto Lovebrella's side, but it does look like Imperial have this, unless Cosme has done enough on the other side with the paintbrush. I will say, from a bird's eye perspective, it doesn't look like it. Who has won game 1 between these two teams? It is a mess in the middle there, for sure.
Yeah, it looks pretty even, but really interesting.
Wow.
I would have thought that it would have been the other way around, but wow, it was a lot closer than I thought it was. Nice job there.
Yeah. I do think Cosme, what they were doing on the paintbrush did actually pay off. They were able to kind of sneak through to the other side, and paintbrush does still paint quite a lot. So yeah, I guess that was enough for Lovebrella to get over the line.
Yeah, as much issues as like it has in the other modes, I think paintbrush being able to paint relatively well and like hit really hard lends itself to working off this mode pretty heavily. But then again, I'm very inexperienced when it comes to this mode in particular, so I could just be full of it when saying that, but I'll just trust my instincts on that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you're right there anyway. So yeah, I'm not really sure. Like, Cosme was like the only player alive at this point, so I'm not really. They were just like painting desperately, and they were able to get to the other side, I guess. But yeah, I meant to say with Lovebrella's name, you could kind of think of it as like Lovebrella. I mean, I think you said you're a Brella player, right? So
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, technically it's more like a double F sound, but you could, if you say Lovebrella, you probably say it right anyway.
Lovebrella. Okay.
Yeah. And I didn't know
like a tough GH. Okay.
Yeah. That's what we have. A lot of places that are like that. They have an OUGH, and that's how you say it.
But whenever I look back at them, it's going to visually throw me off, but I'll try my best.
Yeah, no problem. I noticed Imperial as well. I don't know if any of these brands would be familiar in the US, but all of the player names are like a shop, like a store, like a UK store.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, one is IKEA. IKEA is like international, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I have an IKEA like probably like a 5-minute drive away from me. So like.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, I think the others were all pretty British. We had a Lidl, which is like a UK shop. Who else? M&S. And I can't remember what the other one was. I'll remind myself. It might have been Co-op. Co-op is another store here, but yeah, I like it.
Yeah, and with that, it seems we'll be going into the second game of this mini set here. As for the map, not sure. I think it might be Mako. That's what they're hovering over right now, but no confirmation as to whether or not that's the pick. Either way, what would you expect for a counter pick on Turf War? Again, I'm very inexperienced with this mode.
I think we actually saw a change there. It might be Hagglefish, it might be Mako. I think they said Mako to begin with, but then they change their mind.
Oh, we got some confirmation.
Um,
It is
I think it
Marlin.
might be Marlin. Yeah, I think
Okay. It
they've
was
gone
none of
with
those. It was
Marlin.
Marlin the whole time.
Yeah, and you know what? Purely based on the fact that they have an E-liter and Loughbrella did not, that might be good enough. Like, you know, a good enough kind of justification to pick Marlin because while it's not a, you know, a ranked mode and you can play anywhere, I'd say E-liter is still pretty good here. It can definitely take some good positions in turf war, you know, on its kind of own side of the map and just kind of overlook the middle with Elita. And they did get some picks in game one, so you know they could definitely kind of trust that. Yeah, co-op. Co-op was the fourth one. There you go. We got M&S co-op, Lidl, and IKEA, and the Elita does come back. Basically the same comp on both
Yeah, pretty
teams.
much,
Yeah,
yeah.
very similar, very similar. So if that Elita can get set up and get a few picks, I can definitely see this choice working out for them.
Yeah, even though you know, backliners don't tend to paint all that well, at least like Chargers in particular, it is like really important to have that kind of area control in order to keep certain areas from being painted over. So it's a nice trade-off for like a mode like this. Starting off, we have all the specials just being thrown out immediately, as is tradition, with Loughbrella, got it this time, taking control of mid with all those strikes and chumps and going up to their fan as well to try and enter zone. Unfortunately, they are getting pushed out with that Booyah, just securing it even further. Now it seems it's Imperial's turn to push in even, to push in just in general. Now we see a bit of a scuffle up there at the, I was going to say the right, but now it's the top. With this rotation. Oh, and narrowly avoiding that reef slider, MS is going to contest that paintbrush with a little bit of help. Now another Booyah being thrown out and strikes as well. It seems that Imperial is taking control of mid hardcore now.
Yeah, they really are. They've just got so much pain, and these specials, I mean, they're not always able to get picks, but they do keep the other players back. Ghostly on that Custom Junior has been in this corner for a very long time.
Yeah.
They had a BR bomb thrown at them, they had tri-strikes, so they couldn't really go anywhere. And now Custom Junior, it doesn't really have a lot of range, and they are aware of that, so they can't really take fights. But the Wavebreaker finally comes out, and now they're going to go for something, and a teammate comes in and cleans up. Nice teamwork coming out from Loughbrella. C Junior was there for so long, but they were just biding their time, waiting for a teammate to come in. And Halo now did get to plat, but unfortunately they kind of dropped off there. But I think they're going to be able to get back up because Imperial don't really have anyone up there at the moment. I think they all kind of got taken out, bit of a delayed wipe. And yeah, they are struggling to come back in now. The paintbrush, deceptively a lot of range on that thing. It is very easy to get caught out. Cosme is just trying to put a lot of pressure on with the paintbrush. The strike's coming out now. They've lost the player. Is the reef slide going to be able to get anyone? No, it isn't. And they get punished as well. Imperial quickly running out of time. IKEA on the gold arrow, just trying to do something on the right side. As long as that, well, I was about to say, as long as that arrow's alive, they still have a chance. But the arrow has now been taken out as well, and they are all from spawn again.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be pretty heavily locked out here. Even if they do try to sneak into mid, it's not going to be a lot of time to be able to cover that much space. And with missiles coming out to paint their base, yeah, it's not looking very likely. Ooh, that was a really nice and aggressive play from Loughbrella. Ooh, I'll get without stuttering once, hopefully.
I mean, I think you're about to say Loughborough, which is the name of the uni, so that wouldn't have been wrong either, I guess.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's got. I guess it's got to be tough sometimes if you're not actually from this country, because they all have a uni, but then they all have names. Like they all still have team names, and some of them are a play on the uni name, and some of them are just like random team names, like Imperial.
Yeah,
But
trust me, I can barely pronounce like the stuff in my country, let alone out of it. So like, nothing against like that. It's just a me thing.
yeah, no, it's all good,
Yeah.
but solid stuff from Loughbrella there again to take turf war.
Yeah, very, very hard lockout from Loughbrella. Loughbrella. God, either way, yeah. But yeah, nice lockout from them. Really clean use of their specials, constantly pushing them back and forth. you were saying like, oh, like all these specials being thrown out doesn't always end up like taking names. Sometimes they don't really need to. All they really need is to apply enough pressure in order to make them back off, in which at that point they're either just like, keeping their distance, which is what they want, or they're like fish in a barrel and they can just pop them off like fairly easily. Now
Yeah.
with that mini set out of the way, we're going to move on to Land Blitz. It looks like it's going to be Crab Leg. Yes.
Yeah, it is, and that was a very quick pick from Imperial this time around. So, maybe this is a kind of confident pick from them coming into Clan Blitz here with the comp they have. Well, I guess they do have that E-liter who does seem to be pretty decent on that thing. So, yeah, I can definitely understand the pick. Of course, the other team does have a brush, which even if it is a paintbrush and it's slightly slower, it is still a brush in Clan Blitz. So they might try and just run up that ramp with it. Or on the grates, of course, you do have all of that grate on this that grating on this map where a brush does. It's a little bit easier for a brush to run around.
Yeah, for a brush to enjoy some elevation, they'll just find grates to be very great in and of themselves.
Yeah. Oh, I don't have an E-liter though. They've actually switched that. Switched off the E-liter and gone for a ballpoint.
Yeah, they have the ballpoint. Haven't seen one of those in a while. Oh wait, as we said, the other team also has an edit. Fascinating. I do enjoy myself a nice heavy. Oh.
Well, so do they, I think. They've wiped them.
For like 3 seconds without just something happening. All right. Off.
Oh, Ghostly.
Oh.
They missed the throw.
Yeah, they missed the throw. They got the soda. Oh. Wait, no, they only have 2. They were just so barely able to reach it. Unfortunately, they scuffed their one opportunity. Hopefully, they'll have another. Who knows? Don't want to count it out just yet. But so far, Luffbrella got it this time. Let's go. Has thrown out some chumps as well as trying to flank them off the great side. Unfortunately, they got seen before they could really make that big of a headway. Unfortunately, they get reefed right at the very end of that platform. Now it seems that Imperial is going to be able to push in even further. With a power clam themselves, it doesn't seem like they could do anything with it, though. Now with Imperial going up the ramp in order to throw out their power clam, who could have seen this coming? They're the first ones to actually break barrier, despite being wiped out earlier. Very impressive comeback.
Yeah, it was a rough start for them, but that was a really good position for a crab tank just on the top middle grates. It can shoot, it has all that range to shoot onto the other side of their goal. They got a couple of picks with it. Sadly, it was only a push to, they broke open the basket, but they only got 1 extra clam in after that. So it's only 23 points on the board. Definitely a chance for more. Of course, Lovebella had the first real chance of the game, but that miss with the power clam just kind of delayed it too much, and they weren't able to get anything. But they besides that push they've just conceded, they seem quite comfortable in this game in general. They're definitely getting more picks, but they got taken out by surprise just then again. Halo is able to throw the power clamp in, but do they have anything to follow? I think Halo is going to be able to get a couple in at least. Yes, they are. They left the middle of it open, and they still have a few clams. Ghostly tries to get one more in, but they've been forced back a little bit here. That might be the end of the push, but Ghostly doesn't get a clam in, but instead they stay alive, so they're going to be able to maintain mid.
Yeah, that was a really nice push. They really only need just like 2 clams in, and they're able to get that in that stuff. And with a nice little super jump, it does seem like, they were able to make it from downtown. They were able from behind the enemies, behind the basket, to score a goal. That was such a crazy play. Not really much of a follow-up they could have done with it, but it was a good distraction to keep them at bay and prevent them from being able to push into their base, at least reliably. So more chumps coming out from Brella in order to throw them off even more, but the crab coming out to try and hold down the area. It gets demolished, and they go down with it with another whiff. But there was an attempt.
There was.
They don't even need that with how far of a score they have. With a double from that blaster, who needs super clams anyway? Well, apparently they do. They were able to score. Oh, wow. Just constant stuff happening. I can't keep up with it all.
Yeah, they are definitely winning out on the picks here. Ghostly redeeming themselves a bit for the misclam at the start of the game by getting a double with the range blaster and keeping the basket open for their teammates for longer to get a bigger score on the board. Imperial, they've proven that they can kind of coordinate a push here. The crab tank that they set up earlier to give way to that push. The Zap is trying to get something on the lower side of the camera here, but Halo wins that one, and it is a player down yet again. 3 specials ready though for Imperial. If they can use these, they can definitely open up the way. The crab tank has to set up a little bit further back though, so not sure if they're going to get anything from this. The Dread has to try and do something against Halo, who is again just kind of going in. I think they are aura'd. Someone is definitely aura'd for Lufbrella. It is a wipeout. 7 clams held by Ghostly, and now a power clam, and this time they do get it in. Halo moving in on the top. They have 2 clams on them. They're going to get even more points on the board.
That was an impressive series of events from Lufbrella right there. They were able to score a bit more, not by much, like maybe like 10 or so, but it was enough to be able to, push at least. So with that, it does seem like Imperial is going to be scrambling to try and just go for a god tier play if they want to be able to win this game back, which, very possible. They were able to score before. They have a power clan with the Duelists. The Duelists getting a hit on something. Unfortunately, they go down to, yes, it was the edit.
Oh.
The edit goes down to, I don't even know what. Oh, and they were so close to the basket. They could have had it. Unfortunately, that was it for overtime.
Oh, disappointed. Just a few more seconds and they would have got at least one more chance to overtake Lufbrella. Once again, we see a Reef Slider get at least 2. It may have been 3. There were definitely like 3 players just suddenly exploded there for Lufbrella's team. But yeah, sadly, that was right at the end of the overtime timer. So there was no time for Imperial to bring it back, which is unfortunate. They are now 2-0 down in this set against Lufbrella, who, I mean, in terms of like fighting and picks, it does always seem like Lufbrella on top, but they seem to just like not quite get it done with the pushes. I mean, they did here eventually, but it definitely took them a while, I feel, to like really get that margin of victory for this one.
Yeah, and yeah, that being said, like despite them having like a really strong hold over like pretty much the whole game, the fact that they had a bit of a slip up early on with like missing that one super clam and letting the enemy team getting like a goal in as well as a stray clam as on top of that. The fact that they were able to pick themselves back up and like come back so hard from that, despite all that, is very commendable and impressive, of course. And now next game seems to be tower control at Hagglefish. That is a personal favorite map mode combination for myself. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'm a fan of this one as well. Tower control, Hagglefish. It's kind of it's an interesting one for like where the tower goes, because it goes through the first checkpoint, of course, which is quite close to mid. But then the second checkpoint is such a, I don't want to call it a choke point, but it's a very easily kind of defended area because it's right below this platform that the other team can, come out of spawn and go there. And a lot of comp players know that when you get to the second checkpoint, you have to get a player up onto that platform to, keep the defending team away so that you can actually push it further than that.
Right. Yeah, I know with this map in particular, like it really is just that first check that if you're able to get past that, it's pretty smooth sailing for the most part, unless they're able to do that too. It really is like those last few checks that are really heavy choke points that lead to a lot of contention. Definitely a defender favored, considering like, again, more of a height difference in terms of terrain. But we'll see how well that works out for these teams. We got the leader back! That's going to be fun to see. I know with mines in particular, like, I don't know how many people know this. You put a mine on the path of the tower, if an enemy is over it, it will go off and mark whoever's on it and paint the floor of the tower. It can be very disruptive if you're not careful.
Yeah, definitely can. Although 2 players down for Lovebrella, actually. They've kept the heavy edit from last time, but they get taken out as well. So it's a bit of a delayed wipe. Imperial trying to come out in game 3 strong. They are 2 games down. They do have to reverse sweep now to take this set. And they are definitely playing with some more speed here. Despite they've not really changed the comp too much. The zap is staying. I mean, it's pretty much the same comp as the game we've just seen. Players going down left, right, and center here. Still 2 players down for Lovebrella. I'm not sure if they've really played the game with a full team since the game started. Everyone's alive right now. Both teams just kind of trying to regroup, just trying to get a push going. Imperial have pushed it through. Not even a checkpoint. They've only pushed it to 86, and suddenly they're 2 players down. I think that was 3 players down. They are at least cooled, so they'll be back very quickly. But this might be a chance for Lovebrella to do something here. I think Cosme on the pro is now Allward, so they're going to fully try and take advantage of that. Going straight to the other team's plat. The pro, it can splat pretty quickly, and it's got plenty of range. They do have to jump out, but it is going to be the lead to Lovebrella. Probably not for long, because the triple link strikes come out, and they get 2.
Yeah, that was a very nice series of strikes right there in order to take them off tower. I don't know why the Lovebrella team didn't leave tower when that happened, but either way, it doesn't really matter for them, considering that they are in lead, so they probably just figured it wasn't that big of a deal. Either way, it does seem that even though, you know, they did, like, die to that, excuse me, it did not seem to matter, as they still have control of that tower. They were able to get past check, and that Heavy Edit was able to trade with someone. Leader going into a fight with a, I think that's the pro. All right, wow. Pro having aura right now in order to try and push for this tower to go even further. Unfortunately, it was taken by Imperial, but not for long, with missiles coming out to try and throw them off while they're still in base. Going to be very disruptive. Cosme jumping right back into mid in order to throw them off even more, continuing that aura streak by just constantly painting, constantly trying to get a grasp of things that are going on. Like, oh my god, this POV is making me dizzy. But, yeah, just a lot of holding down the line. Hopefully, for Imperial, they'll be able to push at least a little bit. So far, like, do seem to be on the rail to be able to do that with Soda and everything, but not everyone grabbed it. Well, I say that someone just grabbed it. Oh, and a nice take out with that wave breaker as well. Very nice touch indeed.
Yeah, very. I mean, Cosme was alive for so long there. They just seemed to be having like such a fun time. They were the only one alive for a while there on Imperial side, and Imperial just couldn't deal with them. Cosme eventually goes down, but it doesn't look like Lovebrella are going to give up a push. And we're only a minute and a half left. This very interesting game. Lovebrella are only through the first checkpoint. They haven't even reached the second. Imperial haven't got through 1 checkpoint. By no means they're not out of this yet, but they just have to coordinate. Probably just 1 push will get it done, but there's a lot of aggression coming out from Cosme and Halo, and they're really struggling with these specials, as well as we saw there with the missiles. Cosme has probably spent at least half of this game auraed as well, and Ghostly's Kraken is such a pain to deal with, because once it's out, you can't splat them, even if they don't really, you know, do anything. You can't get rid of them. 2 players down for Lovebrella. The Reef Slide coming out, trying to get a third, and they do. And now it's a wipeout. They have to do it now. I just feel like this is their chance to do it. They have to push up. They have to paint. They have to get through this first checkpoint. I mean, after the first check, they don't have to get far. Lovebrella didn't even get to the second checkpoint at all. So if they just keep this going, get these specials, they could get it done, Optical.
Right, yeah. I'm very impressed with that series of events. It does, like, something I have noticed, I don't know if you have, whenever Halo throws out that wave breaker, it feels like they're trying to throw it farther than it ends up landing. I don't know if they're just having trouble with, like, the aiming of it, or they're just used to, like, maybe, like, farther throw potential with it for some reason. But either way, like, they still make great use of it regardless. A nice kill from him as well. Wow. With that, unfortunately, Imperial was not able to really get a huge push with that advantage from the wipeout, and unfortunately, time is up, and they were not able to get it any further, which means Lovebrella.
There you go.
Lovebrella sorry, word faded away before I could say it. Loughborough was able to take this game and set. So congratulations to them.
Yeah, definitely good work again from Loughborough. The one I did feel like it was the one chance Imperial were going to have when they got that wipeout. But credit to Loughborough, they did recover very well. They didn't panic, they didn't stagger at all, and Imperial weren't quite able to push it far enough. I think I saw a reef slider come out that wasn't quite able to get anyone. Maybe if that could have taken out the edit, it would have paved the way for them a little bit. I'm not sure if they would have been able to from the angle they were at. But yeah, I mean, really solid defense from Loughborough. You know, they didn't push the tower very far themselves, but they also just didn't give Imperial much space at all. There was just, I feel like they were just always dealing with a special, whether it was Wave Breaker or Tenta missiles or the Krakens coming out. I don't know how many Krakens Ghostly got that game. It felt like a lot. It just felt like they always had Kraken ready to go on the range blaster. But yeah, it's just such a nightmarish kind of array of specials to deal with, I feel like, for Imperial.
Yeah, honestly, like, great play from both teams as always. And like, given like everything, Imperial was able to put up some like impressive plays themselves just with their attempts. Unfortunately, it was just not enough because Loughborough, I guess they just, well, I don't want to say better, but they did end up winning out overall. But yes, either way, like, wonderful plays from both teams. Really, really impressed with just everything going on in general. Um, but yeah, I think with all that being said, I think that's our time, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Two matches from us. There is one more round of Swiss in this tournament, which is coming up after. I think that's going to be commentated by Pat and Sam, so they will be coming in, and that game will be Anarchists versus Solar Cardinals, the two teams that are essentially the top two of the Swiss. So they're fighting for top seed for the double elimination bracket that starts next week. But yeah, that is up from me. That is it from me and Optical. So before we go, Optical, let everyone know where they can find you on the internet.
Oh, don't mind if I do. As always, you can find me on YouTube, same username, Optical Drop, as well as Blue Sky. I do plan on making some new video sometime before the month ends, hopefully, cross my fingers. Ooh. But if you do want to see some more of me, you can also find me at Big Dapple 9 coming this Saturday, so make sure to tune in for that. I will not confirm nor deny if I will be commentating or there as well, or even specifically at, like, 5 o'clock EST. Maybe not. Who knows? But either way, it's going to be fun, and I will be there. And if you are there, you can say hi, because I can say hi too. What about you? Where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me. Well, first off, have fun with that. It sounds like a really good time. So I
Yes,
hope
thank you.
hope it's enjoyable. But yeah, Blue Sky, it's on the screen, conro.sbl.bsky.social, and I do stream sometimes on Twitch. On Twitch, I'm just twitch.tv/conro, CONRO. Yeah, you can find me there. I'll be streaming some competitive stuff soon. I'm playing in Looty, so I'll stream those games. And yeah, I do want to stream more as well. So be sure to catch me there if you'd like. But yeah, that's it from me and Optical. Don't go anywhere, guys. The last match of the Swiss stage is coming up. It's bound to be a good one. So stay tuned for Pat and Sam. But for now, we'll sign off and we'll see everyone in a bit.
Hi, guys.
and welcome back to NSE. I am Pat here with Sama, ready to watch our final round of this final week of the sweet stage of NSE. Sama Perez, how are you doing? Are you ready to know who is going to be in the top 8 of this season?
It's very exciting. I'm happy to be here. I'm glad I had a Monday off to be able to show up to NSE. Top Cut is so fun to watch, always. But we still have to get this last week of Swiss through before we can actually see our Top Cut.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to go in with the Anarchists going against Solent Cardinals. I mean, they're two very classic teams that can be incredibly strong, that can be incredibly dangerous, that you can never underestimate. And let's start with, of course, Turf Wars to know how they're going to play tonight.
We are in this classic Haggle Turf for our game 1 here. We have Anarchist green, Cardinals on our purple here. And I do want to point out we have this red pen here instead of the blue, and also the blue Dapples. So 2 very interesting comp picks on the side of the Solvent Cardinals. I mean, we have Dynamos on both sides, which is kind of classic now with that new buff, though.
Yeah, very much right there. I love to see Dynamo, and especially for Turf Wars, that's a mode where you can try lots of weapons, where so many different strategies can work. As long as you have the movement with your team, you can make it work, and both teams are capitalizing and making that Dynamo appear. You know, that's very much the weapon that during the patch I saw so many players say, oh, I really wanted to use that weapon and I can't wait to.
And you do see this red pen really helping their team push up with that rain here. And along with the blue Dapples, you know, hopefully they're going to get some good Reef Sliders out here soon. But we do have the strikes coming out on the side of the Anarchists, helping them push up a little bit. But we have the counter strikes coming at the same time from the Solvent Cardinals. We're holding a stalemate in the mid here, and it's just very skirmishy back and forth fight on both sides.
Skirmishy, both teams trying to hold their control over mid, and that fight for mid is usually what decides Turf Wars. Now, Sam, we're about to enter the final minute of the game, and it looks like both teams are losing still a lot of players, and nobody's really able to go through mid. Oh, wait! That's a lot of splats, and the Cardinals are kind of called it right there. We were isolated, going to try to survive, but the rest of the Anarchists are taking control.
We're falling for the Turf War special where only the last 30 seconds matter, as we see the Anarchists very quickly pushing up towards the ramp of the Cardinals here. You see the green coming up into their base area, these 4 Dapples just trying to keep it painted up there, but you just have a whole group of them pushing towards that ramp, and it's a steamroll into the base.
Yeah, but the Cavitator coming in, getting a trade, maintaining the fight so far from mid, but the Cardinals are able to get the splats, are able to go back in. 20 seconds left to decide it all. And now both of our teams are fighting for the middle, but it's 2 down onto the Anarchists. They have a bit more paint, but they need to get back into the fight as the Cardinals are just painting more and more right now.
I think that rain's gonna save the day here. These last few seconds, the game wraps up. I gotta see this map.
It's going to be pretty close, but that's a lot of yellow right here. Beautiful game 1 for the Anarchists to hold on to their lead.
You did see the very end there, the Cardinals, they pushed up all through mid together, right? And you saw the rain come out and really just try to save the day for him there. But someone got behind them, as you can see on the map. I want to say it was the decav or maybe their stringer. I couldn't tell. But someone got back there and just kind of canceled that whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, there were so many different counters, and that's kind of what I like about Turf Wars, because the objective is everywhere on the map. These plays that you have going behind the opponent, going around the opponent, really allow you to create the surprise, to create more control. And by the way, this is a statement I want to make. If you're a competitive player and you want to improve, play Turf Wars. Play Turf Wars, it's
Absolutely.
going to make
Absolutely.
you so much better. You're going to know corners of the map that you never think to use because you're so fixated on the middle where most of the time the objective is. You're going to learn that people can be absolutely anywhere and you have to look everywhere for flanks. It's a good mode to practice, and I know, yes, it's plays so differently than the other modes, but being good at Turf Wars will make you good at Splatoon. Now the Cardinals get to choose the next map, and we're going on to Barnacle and Dime.
This feels like a copy of what I was commentating last week, where we go from the very skinny hagglefish onto the big, giant, wide Barnacle and Dime.
Yeah. Yeah, different map, different way to play, but not really a different composition from our teams. They're sticking to their guns and bringing back pretty much, I think, the same weapons that
Yes,
they were
same
bringing
comps, same
in Game
comps.
1. Yeah.
But let's see this very quick takeoff into mid here. We see this decav pushing very forward here, already going up into their little bats area, the little snipe. Taking out this Dynamo, but very quickly getting taken out themselves by the Slosher. These Dapples just trying to keep this Brella away, but the Dynamo is quickly going after them at the same time. All these specials popping over mid. It's so skirmishy right now, Pat.
Yeah, with being splatted by Tame with the Decavitator, Cardinals have control over mid, but all of the Anarchists are still in position. They're not pushed away, which you don't want to happen on here. Tame going in with the Decav, getting a double, not even splatted, activates the bubbler. Now it's on the Anarchists to really take control of the map, leaving the chumps behind them just to make sure there is paint. As look at that, there is a lot of range on this map right now.
They have very, very quickly pushed their way all the way up here. And the Cardinals, they need to find some hole in the Anarchist, both defense and offense here, to be able to push, at the very least, back into mid. And we do kind of see it with these Dapples. They're back into the snipe, popping the reef, trying to get the Brella, but not really getting it. But we are back into the hallway here, back skirmishing around mid. But we end up getting Scorpion between the stringer.
And right there, our team still fighting for the control as the Cardinals were able to find a few floors, were able to go in. Raven still able to survive with that Brella and get away with a splat. Both teams still very much evenly matched. At this point, very much one fight is going to decide it all. But right now, Tame is going in, getting more and more splat. It's with and Spooks are kind of isolated, both trying to maintain the fight in mid, but it's just with the Dapples trying to survive.
Wither is so close to almost making an absolute, like, just miracle play here. They're getting behind enemies constantly. They just need to get the picks to follow up these great flanks that they're getting, but in the end, they end up getting surrounded.
Yeah, beautiful plays by the Anarchists right here, who keep the fight on. We're in the last 30 seconds, Sam, and I mean, Dynamo's trading, but next fight to decide it all. Still, our team's very much even, very much in mid, and everybody trading left and right. Ooh!
Tame on this decav is just absolutely nasty with it. They are really... They're the ones carrying these miracle plays for the Atticus here, as we see that extremely orange map.
Yeah, huge final moves right here by Tame to get the victory. That means that's a 2-0 for the Anarchists, who are going to get the Turf War points.
And these were some really good plays on both sides here. You know, I always say that the score does not tell the story, which is very clear here, because we did see many times the Cardinals were able to push, not to the score that the Anarchists did, but they were able to get very far up into the mid and push onto the snipe a little bit. But of course, the Anarchists were able to flip it around and play a proper turf war match of where, the 30 seconds is all that matters.
Yeah, and really we had both teams maintaining control, maintaining presence, making sure that they were ready for that final fight. But when it was time for the final fight, it was Tame popping off. It was very much the Anarchists finding the extra splat, finding the extra speed when it mattered the most, when all the pressure was on, and getting the first point, getting the victory right here. Now, as you said, the Cardinals very much playing a good game, being able to match that speed most of the game. Now they need to do that. They need to do a bit better going into the ranked modes.
Our first rank mode up is Clam Blitz, which I feel like many players are thankful that they kept Rainmaker for last, so you have less of a chance of playing it. But Clam Blitz is also hated, just not to the same degree. But I do a good Clam Blitz match is great to watch because it requires so much more game sense, I feel like, of knowing what's going on. But people would rather just play splat zones.
Well, Clam Blitz is the mode that tests your team coordination.
Yes.
And here we have two teams. Both of these teams are qualified for Division 1 of this season, by the way. Both of these teams have that coordination. Both of these teams have these plays. Like, they know how to pass the clams. They can count to 8, which is very much harder to do when you're 4 people trying to count at the same time. And
now imagine if it was Splatoon 2.
It's harder, but yeah, we got it better here in Splatoon 3. And yeah, I can't wait to watch these two teams. As you said, Clam Blitz always give us a show. You always have the possibility of a super jump behind everybody, and we've seen a few sneaky plays. We've seen a few flanks happening. I mean, for Clam Blitz, you have to bring that. You have to make that happen.
I feel like Clam Blitz 2 is where you see the most clutch overtime plays ever. You see those double clam last second. Like, obviously, we had some really good clutch plays in the NA League recently.
Yeah.
But I see a lot more, like, last-second clutch plays on Clam Blitz, I feel like. You know, like I said, the last-second footballs, the one clam needed, the jump behind.
Yeah.
I feel Clam Blitz has so many more opportunities for just absolute crazy miracle plays.
Yeah. As you said, there's always an opportunity. Now we're going to go on to Umami Runes. Umami Runes on Clam Blitz, it feels like there's always one team under the other team's basket. There's very rarely these big fights in mid that you see in splat zones. For Clam Blitz, it's very much the second the other team starts getting an edge, you want to retreat to your basket. Make sure that you have that on lock and not let the opponent get in. Because if you can sneak your way through and get control of Snipe, get yourself on that round platform right next to the basket, you can get pretty safe using the height to your advantage and get jumps pretty easily.
It's just as you said, Umami has some very, very close baskets because one, the mid is not that big to begin with, and then the baskets are right behind the mid, so they're very close. And once you get that little dome right behind the snipe, yeah, it's easy jump spot, easy clam throwing spot. It just once you get that secured, the match is very much in your favor.
Yep. Very much. Let's see how these two teams will secure the victory here on Umami Runes. 1-0 right now for the Anarchists, but for sure the Cardinals very much have a lot to say. With switching to the regular Julies to have these grab tanks, while Spookster is bringing the brush, and have on the other side also a brush that will provide this time the Zipcaster.
I do love seeing the brushes come out on both sides. You know, it's so solo queue, but I do love it, especially a map like this where the baskets are as close as we were saying. Yeah. It's much more important. Those brushes actually do have a good role to play of just running in, getting some spots, and then running up to the snipe and getting some. We do see this Ink Brush here doing exactly that, just running back and forth and just keeping eyes on them, which normally you would not see the Ink Brush hold the ball. Normally they would toss it off to someone else, like their Dynamo or their Pen, and then they would go run, and then somebody else jump to them.
Oh, things are not going very well right now for the Cardinals. They've lost a few too many player. Anarchist waiting for the clams to happen. They're jumping left and right. Raven is on top of the dome with the Octobrush. There's a lot of room for the team. Can the Cardinals defend? We're still waiting for the Super Clam to be made by the Anarchists. They're able to open that basket and they still have a lot to throw in.
I was just sitting there, somebody throw this guy 2 clams, please. But we got that little bit in, we got the ball and 2 clams on top of it. It is nice, a little extra, so they can't just toss a ball and immediately go for the tiebreaker. But they do have the ball in return, and they do have a pity clam in return. So this could very easily just be so much more of a dunk onto them with the fact that they didn't go down to 60.
Yeah, and right now the Cardinals have gotten back onto the map again. They have control of mid and they're forcing Anarchists to defend right there, but the Anarchists going back in. Ooh, Tame again! Tame just got a quad, I think, at least a triple, and now Anarchists are back under the basket, reopening it and extending their score.
What an absolute steamroll into mid there. It was entirely purple and Tame got that triple and then immediately just flooded into mid. And he's still getting picks. He's still doing it. I want to see them get another ball here, right? And be able to push right back in. If they just slam this Clamblitz match, it would be incredible.
I mean, right now the Anarchists are unrelenting. They keep maintaining their presence, maintaining the pressure. Even when they don't have a ball, the Cardinals are forced to defend, forced to stay on their side of the map. The Crab Tank is creating an opening for the Cardinals, but can they use that opening well? Well, they're getting a few trades. Wait, that brush just got a splat and the Cardinals are back on top. Now the big question is, can they create the momentum? Can the Hammer get the splat? Wait! Oh! That was so close to a ball.
No, that was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that brush made so many incredible plays, but even if they died, they still were able to get their team to follow up on it, and they do finally get that ball in the basket here. We just need to get that second one in and a couple more clams. There we go, and we've taken the lead.
Yeah, right there. That is a big push by the Cardinals. Cardinals waited for that one big occasion and it's paying off. Look, they're still keeping control. A Crab Tank next to the basket. That's going to be punished by Mesmerizer on the Rapid. 36 points remaining. That's a huge push by the Cardinals. But now the Cardinals... wait, the Cardinals still have control over the map. And Anarchists need to find their way forward in the last minute now.
Yes, the Cardinals were finally taken down and that pushed up, but they went all the way down to 36, and that's another 20-point lead. So the Anarchists would need to put in another 2 balls into the basket there, or at least hold it open for a solid, minute to be able to get down to that. And we did see the Cardinals still had hold of mid, but Anarchists very quickly rolling in and taking it back. They said, "This is our turf. What are you doing here?"
Yeah, Anarchists, they have such good control over the map. When the Anarchists want to take control of the mid, they're able to really establish themselves, take so much, but they don't have much time and they just lost their blaster, which adds a lot of solidity to the team right now. Cardinals know that all they need to do is deny for 15 more seconds. Can they keep the clams away from the Anarchists?
You know, I was just about to say that brush had their hammer ready, and this could be a very crucial push in for them, but they went down. But we have this Dynamo ready with the ball here, just trying to hold the Anarchist away from this basket, just trying to keep this overtime out. But we were 2 down, and we're just sitting here crowding the basket, trying to play a really strong defense before this overtime runs out.
Yeah, that's looking pretty dire. You don't want to jump out during overtime. That's going to be game for the Solent Cardinals, who are tying up the score, Sam.
Very impressive Clam Blitz game. It was looking very dire for them, but that ink brush play, it really just opened up the door for all of the Cardinals and just let them drop in what 2 balls, 3 balls, and a couple extra clams.
Yeah, it's about getting that one big pushes. And right there, the Cardinals only got one single push. That's all they needed. Anarchist, we see them having so much control over the map, maintaining so much pressure throughout the game. But the Cardinals, remember that in Splatoon, what matters the most is the one big push that gives you the victory. They got it, and they got the point, which means we are tied. More games for us to watch, Sam.
Absolutely. We're at the minimum going to a game 4. So this will already be very fun. And
Yep.
I like what you were saying there about one big push. It is all you need. If you can get one strong push, play defense on it hard enough, then you can win the game. And everything's just a last 30 seconds, play your defense, etc. And that's what it looks like as an outsider. But it is a lot that goes into it in the actual game.
Yeah, there's a lot of thought, and we saw both of these teams really adapt to the map and mode. I mean, if you have a good brush and Glamblitz happens, you want to make that brush happen, and we saw both of these teams play differently, adapt completely, making sure that they can make it work. Now, the Anarchists have chosen the next map. It's on tower control, and it's going to be Undertow Spillway.
This is an interesting map. You don't see this map played very often.
Yeah.
And
What?
okay, we're going to Vanilla Dynamo. Oh, okay, something went wrong. Okay, we'll see what went wrong in just a second here as they queue up this match again.
Okay, if this is real, this is the craziest comp ever. I mean, Dynamo, yes, it's a good weapon now, and on this map, I think it's very much a force to reckon with. But having two,
yeah,
that's like, I don't know. I'm confused.
I think it is viable, at the very least for this map, because of the way the tower it follows the wall that you have for your base. So Dynamo absolutely could be a viable option here. I think on defense and on offense, just for the fall off in the chip. It's still an interesting choice.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you have double tacticular, you have to make sure that you chain these tacticulars properly and that you never break that chain, because breaking that chain can cost you. Okay, that was
it was a mistake.
A mistake on the side of the Cardinals. We were starting with a different comp. That makes more sense. That looks more like what we were expecting from the Cardinals.
So we're back to their turf war comp here with that red pencil, which is definitely an interesting choice, I think. But I do get it when you don't want to run the double cooler, especially if you don't know how to line them up properly. So the rain can be helpful, especially now that it doubles as a location special with the health bars.
Yeah, that's a nice first opening by the Cardinals. Right, and with the Brella able to survive, of course, that's what the Brella does. The rest of the team can respawn, but the Cardinals already moving towards the second checkpoint after going the first checkpoint, aka the formality on this map.
It is very back and forth here with the paint, but we do see that the Cardinals are kind of keeping the tower to themselves. The Anarchists will come up, but they can't touch the tower. They just get paint up that far, but it's very quickly painted over by the Cardinals, and then we just keep going back and forth, back and forth. The tower will reset, and then the Cardinals get back on the tower.
Yeah, back and forth, but we have yet to see the Anarchists really going through mid and getting past mid. Right now, look at that, the Cardinals got 2 splats, and they're pushing once again. Anarchists are kind of forced to play defense, and it feels like the Cardinals are more and more confident as the games go by.
It is very good to see, especially with the start that they had in turf. It felt like they were a little scared to kind of push in sometimes, but now they're very confident. They say, this is our game, we're standing proud, you can't touch us, we're going to stand on this tower and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah. Tower about to reach the second checkpoint, but there's still Cool Clone with the Dynamo for the Anarchists to defend, not able to stand alive, but the Cardinals are still pushed away. Wither kind of forced to wait, kind of forced to hide. Is going to be a thorn into the Anarchist side, but is able to maintain a lot of presence.
The Anarchists finally touched the tower, but they only get 1 point on it as the Cardinals just immediately push back in. But okay, we see some really crucial picks there from Tame, and now the Anarchists finally do have this tower actually solidly in their control here for a little bit.
Yeah, the Anarchists still relying on their ability to have their frontliner off to move in. They broke the checkpoint, and I called it a formality. It's still important that you can get through it so that you can attack faster later, but right now the Anarchists are not the ones pushing. It's the Cardinals getting more and more paint, more and more ground.
Yes, they're right back to that same spot they were before, seeing we can break through this checkpoint this time before we go on to the last one up on this elbow here. And we do break through that first or second checkpoint actually now as we come up to this little ramp area on the side of the Anarchists here. Let's see, they might go for this tower again. They are pushing the Cardinals back into the mid here.
Yep, right there, Anarchist defending, trying to get back control, but Decapitator going in, getting a splat on the backline. That is huge. Anarchist right now still in that fight and able to get a lot of action. They're finally able to go forward. The big question now is, can they ride that momentum? Can they get past the checkpoint? And ooh, it looks like they're getting more and more splats.
Crucial picks from Tame here, just holding all the Cardinals back so that, you know, this tower can just breeze right through these checkpoints. He's holding such a good position forward, you know. He's able to get all the picks that really matter for the Cardinals. He's able to take out the pen, able to... And here he goes again, coming back to get this pen right behind.
Ooh.
Oh, incredible flank there and taking the dualies off the tower at the same time.
Yeah. Beautiful play here by Anarchist, and especially Tame getting so many splats. We're in the last minute, and I mean, this time it's the Anarchists that were led but got the comeback, got to push back in. The Cardinals still have some time to get back forward, but I mean, they have to make this push work. They don't have much time left, Sam.
Yes, the Cardinals need a very dominant push to be able to get this lead back in time, into the overtime. Actually, it needs to be very dominant. They need to push the Anarchists all the way back to their base, and they need to let this Dynamo do their work for them with this chip damage over the edges here, with how much verticality this map has.
Yeah, we're about to enter overtime. Cardinals need to get on the tower, but I see a Decapitator for the Anarchists, who are going to take back the lead. 2-1. I mean, as you said, Sam, very back and forth between these two teams.
But I mean, you stand no chance when you have a decav looking at you from across the map.
Yeah, it's one of these weapons that you can never underestimate, that you always have to know where they are. That one-shot potential is so dangerous, and also they can pop a bubbler anywhere. They have so many tools to be dangerous with a Decapitator. And yeah, right there. The Anarchist able to push strong, to go in, to get back into the game, to get back into the lead. But it's certainly not over. Now we are going to the Cardinals counter pick once again, and this time it's going to be on Splat Zones.
Now, for Splat Zones maps here, especially if they're sticking with their turf or comp, I feel like they would want something a little more hallway-esque, especially with the rain that they have. But also at the same time, they are playing Counter-Strikes and with a decav staring them in the face the whole time. What do you go here? What do you think, Pat?
I'm not sure, honestly. These teams know more than me about each other. Like, they've played. I don't think they've met this season. They haven't met this season, I'm checking. But like, they've played each other in scrims, I'm sure, and also in previous seasons they've met several times. They know what to expect from each other. They probably have a plan for the occasion. Now the big question is, does the other team expect that plan? And I feel like we're at the Division 1 caliber of teams right here. And they know all of the maps on this map list. They have a good plan for all of the maps on this map list. So anything
I just saw the
could
map.
work. Oh.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm addressing the elephant in the room. I guess I did say hallway. That is a hallway if I've ever seen it.
Yeah. It is.
Wow. Okay. Brine Water Springs. I act shocked, but I mean, you've seen me in the zone.
Mhm.
For some reason, this is a popular pick. I don't get it.
Okay, would it help to tell you that the Cardinals have one of the best snipers in Europe?
This is true. This is true. They do have snipes.
No, they have Yosha. Snipes is on the Anarchists.
Oh, I have it all backwards right now. But I mean, both sides have very good snipers here.
Both sides
But
have very good snipers.
Snipes and Yoshel are both forces to be reckoned with here. So this,
yeah,
it'll be a laser game. We're gonna play laser tag on this right here.
I think Snipes is not gonna bring a charger. Knowing what Snipes has been playing so far, yeah, Snipes is going to bring the blaster to try to annoy Star Yoshi, aka Yoshel, who is still on that red pencil.
We do see the switch of the dualies to the N-Parry dualies with the splashdown here, which will be an insta-cap, I think, on this zone with how small it is.
Yeah.
And immediately a very quick cap from the Cardinals here. I mean, obviously, with the pen just overlooking everything.
Yeah, and these N-Parry dualies also are going to give more overall fighting power to the Cardinals, which I think is going to be good for them. They're going to need it, but right now they're going to need a lot of things. The Anarchists opening incredibly strong. All of the team is there to absolutely spawn camp their opponents. The strikes are being thrown, but they're not enough to move the Anarchists away. Anarchists so dangerous right now.
Oh my god. What an opening. I was talking nice about the Cardinals opening the zone fast, but the Anarchists just said, oh, no, never mind, this is my show. I'm going to walk right up and take everything. And even when the Cardinals take it back, we still have all of the Anarchists sitting in mid here. Guys, paint the zone, please. Okay, there we go. And we're running right back up this ramp and just having an absolutely dominant hold over this game here.
Yeah, right now, Anarchists. Penalty was applied, but they're still very much in control. Yoshi right here trying to get the splats, trying to retake the ramp, at least as the Anarchists are not able to deny the penalty from being applied. That's the power of a red pencil. Red pencil, when rain is on, there's nothing that paints more.
I think it is really funny to see the grand return of red pencil, because when it came out we said, oh, this weapon is awful, this weapon's so bad, and now we have Dynamo and red pencil dominating a comp in just making it work so much to their advantage here, and they can paint this zone so fast. They just have to follow up with it, right? They need to get up that ramp the same way the Anarchists did for them, and they're starting to get that push up here.
That's the beauty of this game. There's always something new. There's always something interesting to learn. And right now, the Cardinals trying to keep the zone, trying to get the lead, but they get splatted left and right. Anarchists get the wipeout and retake control over the map. And they're not wasting a second, Sam. Look at that. They're already back onto the ramp.
The Anarchists are playing this comp so fast. It's the Cardinals will take the zone, and the Anarchists will immediately come back, take it back, and run up their ramp. And I think it is partially with snipes on that blaster too. They're able to push up a little further, play a little bit faster, and it's making this game a lot more scrappy. And it's very entertaining to watch.
Yeah, there's so much speed on the side of the Anarchists. The Cardinals are still coming back onto the zone, are still maintaining their teamwork and trying to stay coordinated, but right now they need to paint that zone. They're able to get rid of Tame, and they're able to get rid of Snipes. They have their way back on to the zones. Beautiful move, and Wither with a splashdown is going to get that cap.
It's exactly as I predicted right in the beginning. Those splashdowns are going to be the insta-caps for them. And now they do need to follow up, and they need to run up that ramp, and the same thing that Anarchist was doing to them. They need to keep Anarchist back in their spawn if they want to hold this zone for very long.
Yeah, and right now Cardinals getting wiped once again. We're entering the last minute, Sam, and the Anarchists are winning, are in the lead, have so much paint around, and the Bubbler is ready to help them defend as well. The Cardinals need to make this next push work, and they already lost 2 players. Wither is going to splash down, is going to cap the zone maybe. Wither, can you cap the zone? Yes, but I mean, at what price? At what cost, Sam?
Tame had to come and stop it all. Tame is really holding it together for the Anarchists here, leading them up this ramp here to try and hold it for these last 30 seconds, or the cap, whichever comes first here. It might be the cap. But we do see Wither trying to get a good flank around here. I think farming for that splashdown. Oh, taken down by Tame again. Tame has a vendetta. And we see the win for the Anarchists. Wow.
That was such a close set that ended by a game where the Anarchists, it felt like they figured it out. It felt like they managed to go faster, to read every move that the Cardinals wanted to do, and they were able to really get the upper hand of almost every fight in that final game.
They knew what the Cardinals wanted to do, and they knew how to stop it. They said, oh, you picked Brine Water because you have a pen. Okay, we'll keep your pen down. Oh, you picked End Parries because you want to insta cap. Okay, we'll keep your End Parries down. Like, they knew the strategy they were trying to play, and they just perfectly played against it and just kind of crapped Cardinals for about 70% of that game. But then when the Cardinals did come up, they did come up very strong, but they were missing the follow through.
Yeah.
They weren't able to push the Anarchists back like the Anarchists pushed them back.
Yeah, I feel like, as you said, the Cardinals had tools to fight, like the End Parries are a great fighting weapon. But when it was about controlling space, forcing their opponent to dance, a curling and a sprinkler and a wall, like only their bucket really had a bomb. And the rest of the team kind of lacked the tools to really poke at the enemy, make sure that they couldn't really establish themselves and mount the pushes how they wanted to. Anarchists very happy to mount these big pushes that really gave them the victory. Now, Sam, the good news is that we're going to see both of these teams in Division 1, I'm pretty sure. So,
I think we should. I want to say the Cardinals are number 5 right now. I'd have to look again.
Okay. Yeah. So
yes, number 5.
One,
number 5.
That one was for the seeding and, of course, for the bragging rights for when they will meet again in the final bracket, which will be this week, next week, and the week after that to know who will be your NSE champion. For now, I believe it's time for us to say goodbye, Sam. But
I can't believe it's over already.
Yep. Do you have something to plug?
Right down below, my blue sky. Follow me there.
Same.
Come to my land in North Carolina. If you're in America, come to North Carolina. Come to my land. We're part of the Land Championship Showdown. It's so exciting. I have to start doing work to plug that more, but keep an eye out. Don't flounder at the function. Don't flounder with me.
Yeah. Well, and I'm Pat, saying you can find my blue sky right here. I'd like to give a huge shout out to Jiraiya, a wonderful observer, and Spore, and everybody at NSE for having us. We'll see you next week for the start of the final bracket. Bye-bye!
Bye.